Hey y'all, we are back with another Foundation Friday. My live series, every single Friday, we're going to be talking about something to help you build your financial foundation. As you can see, I have my hair parted. Jesus, can't talk. I have my hair parted in 4 parts because I'm going to be twisting my hair as I am talking to y'all. I know I went live 2 Fridays ago. The last Friday, I had something. Then what was I doing last Friday? Oh, I had a work event. So that's why I didn't go live Friday. And then Saturday, I had my tax class. So that's why I didn't make it back up. Matter of fact, last week was a whole thing. I think I'm still tired from last week. But anywho, we're back. I'm actually going to be doing these lives every single Friday as we build up our community, as people can expect it a little bit more. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Foundation Fridays while I twist my hair and essentially prepare for the weekend, whichever one. So like I told y'all before, last week, or matter of fact, before I start that, the overall theme of today's live is to keep learning. Keep learning. So if you follow me on, or if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel at the Responsible Homegirl, you know I kind of just wrapped up this series called Developing a Rich Mindset, and it's based off of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, that is one of my favorite personal financial literacy books because it hones in a lot on just your mindset about money, and it just talks about like all of these different myths and all of these different things that we kind of were taught growing up, or things that, you know, were just quote unquote the norm for us and we just started believing. So that's why I really love the book. But I share that to say, as I was listening back to the podcast episodes, because yes, I listen to my own podcast. I'm always looking for ways to improve or what I should have expounded on, just different stuff like that. But I was listening back to the episodes, and every single episode, I was saying something about how the rich dad always said that financial education was the most important. Like to always be learning the basics of financial literacy, managing your money, all of that different stuff. Because oftentimes we think, and I have been a victim of this too, like, I don't make enough money, like, oh, only if I had this coming in, only if this was different, I would be in a much better position. I've been there as well. But in reality, it's just like, beef up your financial education, because there's going to be a time where you have unlimited funds. Will you know what to do with it? Will you know how to even keep it? How to multiply it? So I think just listening back and hearing just how the rich dad kept telling them over and over and over, focus on your financial education, focus on your financial education. This is how the rich got rich. This is how the rich got wealthy, and different stuff like that. It reminded me that I needed to always keep learning. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Like, always keep learning. Whenever we start like this new journey, or we start digging into something, we kind of go in like, we go all in. And then we kind of get to a point where we're a little bit comfortable. We're like, okay, I know a little bit. I done listened to a good bit of podcasts. I done read a couple of books. I done watched a few YouTube videos. I know what I got going on. But like I said, listening back to that podcast episode, or all of the episodes, and just rereading some of the stuff from Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's like, sis, don't get comfortable. You always need to keep learning. Always need to keep learning, no matter what. I guess we are all wearing this hoodie today. Yes, twins. Yes. So y'all, this hoodie that I have on is my permission hoodie, and it says self-worth is an inside job. I love this hoodie so much. But yes, you always want to keep learning, because the more you are exposed, the better off you'll be. You'll be in a much better financial place just based off of the education that you have gained. Now, I'm not saying education is the end all be all, because you know how people, they be like, knowledge is power. Well, I believe applied knowledge is power, because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but what are you actually doing with the knowledge? So even with the information that I share on the Responsible Homegirl, as I am giving y'all different gems and I'm teaching y'all different stuff that I've learned through my own experience, or things that I've learned through reading books or listening to podcasts, all of that good stuff, it is your responsibility to keep learning. You have to keep learning. I always say my platform is to sow seeds. It's to expose you to a little bit. And then with the little bit that I give, it is your responsibility to do some more research. So say, for instance, I'm sharing something on my page about wholesaling mobile homes. If I'm not given the full blueprint from A to Z, which 9 times out of 10, I'm not, because social media isn't designed for all the meat and bones. Social media is like fast food. If you actually want to sit down, fine dining, and get all of the good stuff, then that requires some extra work. It requires some more research. It requires some more time. So we cannot rely on the content that we get on IG, TikTok, Facebook, all of that stuff as our foundation for all of the education. Like, no, it's the introduction, but you need to go back to the drawing board and you need to do some more research. You need to keep learning. That's the whole theme of today's live. Keep learning. Don't ever be afraid of investing in yourself. And investing in yourself is not always about money. And I always share that. It's deeper than money. It is deeper than money. It's your time. It's your energy. It's your effort. Matter of fact, money is probably like, when we talk about value, probably the least on the list. Because money come and go. You can always get coin. You can always get $1. But your time, you're not getting that back. You are not getting your time back. So what are you doing with your time? And granted, there are so many different pages that I like, so many different influencers that I follow, and I get great information from. But if they say something that really piques my interest, trust and believe, I'm going to find a podcast. I'm going to listen to a YouTube video. If they have a course, I'm going to invest in the course. If they have like an ebook or something, I might, Mom, I'm on live. Y'all should come in here jamming. Like, I'm not on live. But yeah.
Thank you, gamers, for being here.
I just can't be great. I cannot be great. But anywho, if they have an ebook or a course or anything like that, trust and believe, I'm going to invest in it. Why? Because like I said before, you cannot rely on social media to get all there is that you need to get. It wasn't designed for that. A reel, y'all, is 90 seconds. It's 90 seconds long. Tell me how you're going to be successful learning something that's 90 seconds long. It don't make sense. Because we're a generation that are hoarders of knowledge. Oh, that is so true. Yes, we love to hoard information instead of actually taking action. And that kind of leads into my next point. Like I told y'all last week, I didn't go live because I just had a whole lot going on between work events, and the next day I went to a tax class. So I invested in that tax class maybe 3 months ago, and the time snuck up on me, and I'm like, dang, I am so tired. That night before, that Friday, I got home at maybe like 11 p.m. And by the time like I showered, got settled, everything, it was like midnight, like almost 1 o'clock. The tax class was in Atlanta, Georgia, and it started at 8 o'clock. And on top of that, it was 3.5 hours away from my sister's house. So I had just laid down, let's just say at 1 a.m. The tax class started at 8 a.m. and it's 3.5 hours away. So that means I needed to leave at 5. So y'all, I was literally running off of like 3-4 hours of sleep. 3-4 hours of sleep. But I knew that I wanted to learn more about tax planning and how we can save more money during tax season, how we can keep more of our money during tax season, and all of that good stuff. But had I not like really been invested for real, I probably wouldn't have gone. But you have to be that committed and that locked in to actually learning new stuff. Could I have learned about tax planning and preparing taxes and stuff on YouTube? Absolutely. But why am I going to do all that when I can just pay my money to somebody who has been successful, somebody who knows what they're talking about, somebody who's registered, has all of the education? Why would I do that? Why? Hey, Tyra. She said, hey, happy Friday. Hey, girl. Why would I do that? So I just want to challenge everybody listening on this live right now. Like, always find different ways to invest in your self-education. Find different ways to really just invest in yourself, period. You need something else?
Just get out that drawer.
Go ahead.
2 seconds. I don't.
What you need? You want me to get it?
Yeah, just some paper.
Oh.
3 and a clip. Can I cut the dryer?
Yeah. So fun fact, y'all, I do everything in my mama's salon.
A clip.
I really think that this is my content creation studio. But it's not. You want a small one? And she's in here fixing her hair. Here you go. So yeah, pause for me.
Too much I can wait.
She said, hi, Mom. Andre said, hi. No, it's fine. She said, hi. The drive was worth your time and money. Yes, it really was. And when I tell y'all, I am so excited about this upcoming season. The class was very long. And on top of that, we got homework. We have weekly Zoom calls. So I'm super excited to be able to offer tax planning, tax preparation for people like who follow the Responsible Homegirl and y'all listening on the live. I am ready. So I just share that to say, always be investing in yourself. Always be figuring out ways that, you can just add more tools to your belt. Sometimes we psych ourselves out with fear. Sometimes we just aren't even willing to try anything because it's different. So step outside of your comfort zone and always keep learning. Learning does not stop when you graduate from high school, or if you're real fancy and you went to college. Like, please, I tell you no lie, I have learned more investing in myself, paying for education, than I have learned getting my 4-year degree. And granted, my experience at college was phenomenal. I met some great people. I learned a lot of great things. But it's just something different when you're actually seeking the knowledge. You're actually seeking it because you want it. Not because it's the thing to do. Not because you got to do it to graduate. Not because you got to do it to get a degree or hopefully get a great job. Like, it's different. It's a whole different ball game. Earlier, I made a post about budgeting. And that's another thing that I'm going to be honing a lot in on. That was a lot of words. That's another thing that I'm going to be focusing on as we come to the end of the year. Because during this time of the season, y'all know it's Christmas time. And this is the prime time where a lot of people get into credit card debt because they haven't planned to buy gifts and stuff. And I'm just on the train. If you don't got it, don't spend it. Do not go out there getting in all this credit card debt just to buy people gifts. Like, come on. We do have a couple of paychecks to go before, Christmas time and shopping and different stuff. So I would just make it a habit to go ahead and budget. Go ahead and start planning out who you're going to buy stuff for, what you're going to be doing, how much money you plan on spending. Just go ahead and start doing all of that stuff. The quicker you do it, the better off you will be. And while we're on the subject of budgeting, does anybody have any questions? I know 2 weeks ago when I went live, I talked about like my process of budgeting and how I budget every single time. So if anybody is on and has questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll kind of give like a quick recap of how you can budget the next time you get paid. Let's see. Did anybody say anything? Y'all, it's very hard to talk and twist my hair at the same time, but I think I'm doing okay. So now, on to creating your lifestyle budget. This is what I use to budget my money every single time I get paid. Just so that it's easy and I know what I have coming in versus what I have leaving out. So first things first, we do not create cut monthly budgets because we do not get paid monthly. Your budget is simply a plan. So every time you get paid, you need to be telling your money what to do. If you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this live right now, the same thing for you. When I was a full-time entrepreneur, if I closed a mobile home deal and I made $5,000, I was doing the same thing. I put my $5,000 down, what I made, my expenses for this pay period, and then what was I saving, what was I spending, what was I investing, and what was I giving. And the goal is to always have financial goals that kind of dictate what it is that you're doing with your money. If your money has no plan, it will literally sit in your account and wait for you to spend it. Ask me how I know. I literally say that every single time. I think that's like part of my spiel. Ask me how I know. The money will sit right there waiting for you to spend it. So please make sure you have a written plan. And I'm a pen and paper type of girl. I know there are a lot of like budgeting apps and money management apps. Maybe I should try some out too just to see how they pair well with pen and paper. But the reason why I love writing my stuff down is because I just get to see my numbers right in front of my face. I write it down. I look at my accounts. I just get to see what's going on. It's something powerful about just writing that stuff down. Something very powerful about writing it down. So that would be like my main encouragement to you, because you do not want to be just out here working to pay for stuff, working and not have nothing to show for it. I was there in 2019 and literally, it is not a good feeling. It is not a good feeling. But I thank God for that season in my life, because now it makes me more intentional about my finances. What am I doing? I always have to have a plan or a goal that I'm working towards, because I'm not working for no reason. And I want you all to adopt that same mindset. Like, why am I working? I'm not working just so I can look cute. I'm not working just so I have enough money to pay my bills. Why are you working? Get that in your head. Many of us, we want to be rich, we want to be wealthy, but we have no plan. And to me, that makes no sense. It makes no sense. But becoming rich, becoming wealthy, just like anything else, you have to teach yourself. You have to learn. You have to like beef up your financial education. And that's why I said from the beginning of this live, always keep learning. Always keep learning. What are you reading? What are you listening to? What videos are you watching? And to be real with you, like, the Responsible Homegirl is amazing, but it's not enough. If I'm the only personal finance content creator that you follow, you need to be doing something different. If I'm the only financial podcast that you listen to, you need to be doing something different. I even have a wide range of people that I learn from, because it's really all about exposure. You don't know what you don't know. So I think I shared last time, like, a podcast that I've been on heavy is the End Game podcast. And I'm telling everybody about that podcast because it's so good. It's not fluff. It's not fluff. And I learned so much just by watching and listening to it. So definitely check that out. And of course, if you're not listening to the Responsible Homegirl, what are you doing? Listen to the Responsible Homegirl. Andre said, if your money has no plan, it's sitting for you to spend it. Exactly, sis. Exactly. I'm not there yet, but recently started asking myself the why question at everything I do now. Absolutely. And I think that's very important. Like, just being more intentional with your spending and being more aware of why you're doing what you're doing. Like, in 2019, I was so frivolous with my money. Like, I'll be going out to eat, getting my nails done, paying for my friends' food. Like, I was just doing all of this stuff like I was balling for real, thinking that I had a whole lot of money that I really didn't have. Budgeting? What budget? I was not budgeting at all. And even as you try to do better with your money, I just want to say give yourself grace because it's all new. But the more you continue investing in your education, taking some time to listen to at least one YouTube video a day or even a week, or just reading a book, reading an article, just doing different things and trying stuff. Because you may realize, like, say for instance, I have an ebook called the Lifestyle Budgeting ebook where I go detail by detail how to budget and how to manage your money better. You may read that book and you may fall in love with it. Like, oh my gosh, Kiani, this changed my life. I've saved so much money. I've paid off this debt. And I'm telling you this because this is what people have told me. That may be your experience. Or you may have the opposite experience. Like, okay, Kiani, this book was great, but this don't really work for me. Like, I need to be the type of person that uses cash envelopes or something. So on your journey, you're going to have to figure out what works best for you and what's going to help you be successful. It was good, and I got the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Yes, that is great. After you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, please tell me how you like it, and we can discuss as well. Everybody that I put on that book, 9 times out of 10, they always come back to me, and they're like, this book literally changed my life. So yeah, I want you to read that book, and let's discuss after you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, because it's one of them ones. It's super good. I was actually thinking about finishing the series on the podcast just because of how good it is, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I've talked about? Like, matter of fact, I want to hear from y'all. What are some things that you're interested in investing in? Like, what is something that you want to learn more about? Is it the stock market? Is it how to start your own business? Is it about taxes? Is it about different ways for you to make money, side hustles? Like, I want to know more. Like, what is it that y'all want to learn more about so that you can change your financial situation? If it's nothing, tell me. Like, right now, do you feel like you're in a good place financially? What do you feel like you struggle with, or what do you feel like you do well? Tyra says, I read it, and I read the book, and it was very interesting. Yes, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Flood Money said credit. Ooh, that's great. Okay, so credit. What exactly about credit? And I'm going to give you a page to follow. I want you to follow Supreme. Dang, what's their IG? I want to say, I think it's Supreme Financial Group. So my friend, his name is Des and Devin. They own the business together, and they give out so much great education and so much great information about credit, about building your credit score, repairing your credit score. So make sure you follow them. Andrea said, I want to invest in saving. You want to learn more about saving and budgeting? Okay, Andrea, if I were you, I would go back down my page and definitely, like, not my page, my YouTube channel, and find those videos where I talk about budgeting and managing your money. That is going to really help you. Now, if you're really, really, really serious, I would purchase my Lifestyle Budgeting ebook, because instead of listening to a whole video or like skipping through stuff, I talk about the entire process. Like, I give you the full blueprint of how to really budget, save better. And another thing that people don't talk about when it comes to savings is a high yield savings account. So if you're listening, I want you to write this down. So this is something that you can work on before the end of this year. So a high yield savings account, for short, people call them HYSA. And I'm going to put that in the comments, or can somebody type that in the comments for me just so people can see? For short, it's a HYSA. And all of that means is a high yield savings account. Now, I'm going to tell you why a high yield savings account is super important. So a high yield savings account, it pays you a higher interest rate than a traditional savings account. So on a traditional savings account, you may get 0.025% or something. Like, y'all know those little pennies that you see in your savings account when you do see them, when you see them like dropping there or whatever. A high yield savings account, it's going to pay you at least 1%. Some interest rates are even 1.5%. Some interest rates are 2%. The reason why is because most of these high yield savings accounts are online banks. And what they do is they don't have like all of the expenses that a traditional bank will have. So they're able to pay you more money. Now, people always ask, Key, what is a good high yield savings account? Blah, blah, blah. I have my high yield savings account with Capital One. So it's called Capital One 360. However, I would recommend you go to bankrate.com. Somebody type that in the comments for me. Go to bankrate.com and compare the savings accounts, because their interest rates on high yield savings accounts, they can go up and they can go down. So pre-COVID, my high yield savings account, I want to say it was like 2.5%. And then COVID happened, and y'all, it was below 1%. But it was still higher than a traditional savings account. Now, I want to say that the interest rate is maybe 1.6% or something like that. The overall theme that I want you to get is a high yield savings account is going to give you more money than a traditional savings account. So why not have it? Now, another reason why it's important to have a high yield savings account is because it makes it very inconvenient for you to touch your money. Now, I want y'all to drop some emojis in the comments if this is you. You have saved some money before that's connected to your regular checking account, and then you get somewhere, you spend some money, and you don't have it all, so you'll just do a quick transfer from your savings to your checking. I want to see who's going to be honest. If my hands wasn't messy, I would definitely type some comments in there, because I've been there before. I mean, some emojis in the comments, because I've been there before. So I want you to drop some comments. Tyra, put some fire. Exactly. All of us have done it. All of us have done it. So having that high yield savings account, it makes it inconvenient for you to touch your money. Why? Because if you want to take money out of your high yield savings account, it's going to take you at least 2 days to get the money. I love it. It's going to take you at least 2 days to get the money. You're not going to get it instantly as if it was in your traditional savings account. So I want everybody to write that down. Next Friday, I'll do a check-in to see who actually created their high yield savings account, because it costs you nothing to open the account. Go to bankrate.com and compare the different savings accounts. And I will go with one that has like a minimum deposit of, let's just say, $0. Some accounts you got to have like $10,000 to open it up. We don't want any of those. Like, just pick one where the deposit is $0. And pick one that has a great interest rate in comparison to the others. But just remember that interest rates, they can go up, they can go down, but at the end of the day, you're still going to get more than a traditional savings account. So it says great files. Of course, I want to give y'all any gems, anything that you need, anything that has helped me on my journey. Because really, the main thing about managing your money and being better with your money is about discipline. But you have to set yourself up to win. You got to set yourself up to win. Even as a responsible homegirl, y'all, I don't always get it perfect. But because I have a great foundation, because I have financial education, it's nothing for me to go back and start over. It's nothing for me to go back and start over. Let's see what else y'all said. So we talked about saving, budgeting. So make sure you get that high yield savings account. Budgeting, if you struggle with budgeting, watch my YouTube videos and purchase the lifestyle budgeting ebook. Y'all, it's only, I want to say it's maybe $27. If that, I can't remember the last time I looked at the price, but I think it's $27. Y'all, we spend that eating out. So if you know for the end of 2022 and going into 2023, you want to be in a better financial spot, go ahead, purchase that ebook, read through it, and use it as a guide to seriously help you budget your money better. Credit and stock. I gave a resource for credit. I think their IG is called Supreme Credit Financial. And even on my YouTube channel, me and him, we did a IG live together. And I can't remember the name of it, but I think it has credit in it, so you'll be able to find it. If you go on my YouTube channel after the live and you can't find it, just DM me and I'll send it to you directly. But while we're talking about credit, I feel like the main thing to focus on with credit is really how you use your credit. Most of our issues come from credit cards. Credit cards, credit cards, credit cards. Not knowing how to properly use a credit card, or not even having a credit card because of the fear attached to it. So I'm going to talk about the latter first, like not having a credit card and why it's important to have one. So many of us growing up, sometimes we may have heard like, oh, don't get a credit card because of whatever reason. But I don't think that credit cards are bad at all if you know how to use them properly. So credit cards, they're not free money. So let's get that out of the way. It is not free money. It is money that you have to leverage, which is a fancy word for use. It is money that you get to use, but it's also money that you have to pay back. So say, for instance, somebody gives you, let's just say Discover, because that's who my credit card is with. Say, for instance, you have a Discover credit card and they give you a $1,000 credit limit. Now, with your $1,000 credit limit on Discover, you do not want to use the entire $1,000. You want to pretend as if you only have $300 on that credit card. Why? Because the credit bureaus, they kind of like give you praises. They increase your credit score. They do all of this good stuff because if you keep your utilization under 30%, then to them, it looks like you are responsible. So I'm going to say that one more time. When you are using your credit card, you want to keep your utilization under 30%. Utilization is a fancy word for how much you use. You want to use 30% or less. So if you have $1,000, multiply that $1,000 times 0.30 and you will get $300. So you want to pretend like it's only $300 on that card. And then when it's time to pay off the balance in full. When you pay off your balance in full, it shows the credit bureaus that they can loan you money and that you will pay it back. No different than a human interaction. If I borrow $100 from my mom, she is expecting for me to return her $100. If I don't return it, then that's gonna, put a little negative damper on her trust. Because if I told her that I'm gonna pay her back, then it's my responsibility to pay her back. So let's not make it hard. It really just is what it is. If you have credit card debt right now, I would say that should be your priority in paying it off, because credit cards, they have one of the highest interest rates. Like their interest rates be between 20 to like 26%. So the more you keep a balance up there, the more that credit card debt is increasing. So any extra money that you have, I will put it towards the credit card debt. I will try to get that balance down to zero as soon as possible. Another thing with credit is just simply pay your bills on time. Anytime you have a late payment and it's reported to the credit bureaus, that negatively impacts your score. So make sure you pay your bills on time. If you cannot pay your bill on time, communicate that. Call the car payment people, call whoever it is that you know is going to report, and just explain to them your situation. You may be able to set up a payment plan or some sort of arrangement, but you do not want them to report that late payment to the credit bureaus, because that's going to negatively impact you. So that's all I got on credit. And make sure you follow Supreme Financial Group, because they're really good at just sharing different credit gems. And if you need like one-on-one help with credit repair, they offer that service as well. Does anybody have anything else that they're interested in? Anything else? We talked about saving. Make sure you get that highest savings account. We talk about budgeting, the lifestyle budgeting ebook, or go to my YouTube channel. Not even and do both of them. We talked about investing in your self-education, finding different things that you want to do to invest your money into. I'm telling y'all, it's nothing new up under the sun. If you want to start an e-commerce business selling products, I promise you, it's somebody out here who have done that before. If you want to start learning how to invest in real estate with little to no money, I promise you, it's somebody out here who have done it before. But we just have to get in our brains to use our phones and use Instagram for more than just entertainment. Use it for more than just entertainment. Because the riches that you desire, the wealth that you desire, is not going to just fall into your lap. It all starts with learning. Learning, taking action. That's why I always say with exposure, execution, and consistency, there is nothing you can't do. So if you're not exposed to it, how are you going to like do something different? You got to get exposed. So that exposure comes from listening to a podcast, watching a YouTube video, reading a book, getting outside of where you grew up, traveling different places. That's where that exposure comes from. Going to a conference. Yes, tickets may be hundreds of dollars, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Get exposed. There are so many different things that I have learned just from going places. And I don't go places just to make a cute reel or go places just to meet famous people. No, I go there to learn, to get exposed, to see what it is that I've never heard about before, and to really like see what other people are doing. Because like I said before, nothing new is up under the sun. Now that's exposure. Execution, you got to put in the work. I just told y'all last week I went to go take a tax class. Now the work doesn't end. We have weekly Zoom calls. We have homework. I have things that I have to read. I literally have to study if I want to be in the best position to help people prepare and plan during tax season. And I know I'm going to do great because for one, I'm interested in it. Two, I love anything dealing with personal finance. And three, I'm willing to put in the work. So going to get the education, getting exposed, that's not enough either. You got to execute. You got to put in the work. And then last but not least, consistency. That's probably my favorite word because it was something that I really struggled with in the beginning. Like I wanted to have a blog and this YouTube channel and this page to help people and blah, blah, blah. I was saying all of that stuff with my mouth, but I wasn't being consistent. But this past year, this is the most consistent I have ever been. And I could still beef up my consistency a little bit more if I'm being honest with you. But consistency pays. It is so much reward in showing up consistently. So y'all, that's all I have for y'all today as far as keep learning. Like I said, I'm going to be here every single Friday sharing different gems about what we can do to build up a better financial foundation. Last time I went live, we talked about budgeting. We talked about preparing for the holidays. This week, we talked about why it is so important to always keep learning and investing in yourself no matter what. If you were late jumping on, please go back and rewatch the replay. I'm actually going to take both of these and put them on YouTube so you can kind of like skip through and stuff. I know it's really hard rewatching like live videos and stuff on IG. So I'm going to put this on YouTube for you to watch. And yeah, if anybody has any questions during anything or for anything that I talked about, please feel free to reach out. We talked about the high yield savings account earlier, and I challenge everybody, if you don't have one, to open up one ASAP. The resource that I gave for you to compare savings account is called bankrates.com. You can compare the different savings account, open you up an account ASAP, and start putting money in it. Make it very inconvenient for you to touch your money. And on the topic of savings, save with a purpose. I do not save my money just to be saving it. If my money is not saving towards an emergency, saving towards a trip, like right now, something that I'm saving towards is the manufacturing of my planners. So earlier this year, I handmade some planners, and the planners, they sold great. Like we did really, really good. However, it just wasn't smart, nor was it efficient for me to hand make planners. So now my goal is to get a manufacturer to produce my planners, about 500 planners for our first rollout. But I have to save to do that. So always save with a purpose. Don't just be saving your money just to save. I even save to invest in places, invest in courses, invest in classes. You always want to make sure that you are saving with a purpose.